Good evening. Happy Wednesday. Happy 2024. It's my first day back, and I had a good start to the new year, and I hope that you all did as well. Good to be here, and looking forward to a hopefully healthy and prosperous new year. It's not why you're here, though. Dive into the numbers. We're going to talk about the forecast. We had some rain today, some very, very light rain. It was not terribly impactful. There was a first alert because we knew there was the potential for some cold air to filter in. And we did get several reports of a little bit of sleet, some ice pellets falling out of the sky, starting in some of our southernmost communities. But we did pick up on a little bit of wintry mix as far north as the North Georgia mountains. So if you picked up on any of that wintry precip, got a picture or a video of it, feel free to send us an email or throw that picture into the app, or you could always just chat with us on YouTube right now and let me know what you saw on your ride home from work, or if you were out running errands this afternoon and you saw some sleet, some ice pellets, or a little bit of snow, because there were some flurries at the extreme higher elevations of the North Georgia mountains earlier this evening. We'll dive into the forecast so that we can plan our week ahead. There's lots of changes that are coming down the pipeline as we head through the next couple of days. Let's start with right now. If you're thinking about stepping out for dinner, going to the gym, or maybe you're working third shift, be prepared for it to be a little chilly. Already down to 40 degrees here in Atlanta. We're tracking the upper 30s in Cartersville and Covington, 38 degrees right now, the current temperature down in Noonan, while we're at 36 in Blairsville and LJ. So cold, and the numbers aren't going to change a whole lot over the course of the next few hours. Trending downward like we normally do at nighttime. We'll see those clouds start to thin up, and we'll wake up to temperatures that are going to be near or below freezing across a large chunk of the metro. We're talking about the low 30s in Marietta and Tucker, 32 in Winder and Gainesville, 30 in Canton for the start of the morning, the upper 20s in places like Noonan and Peachtree City, 27 for the start of the day out in Rome. So we're all going to need those jackets as we start off the day tomorrow. We are tracking lots of sunshine, so it's going to be gorgeous as far as the skies are concerned. The winds will be a little bit breezy. Sustained winds around 10 miles per hour, but they could gust as high as 15 to 20. With the northwest wind, cold, dry air filtering in, that's going to sting a little bit. So these, one of those days for sure where we're going to be talking about the wind chill. Not first alert worthy, but cold and uncomfortable a little bit. Feeling like the upper 20s if you're an early morning riser walking out of the door roughly 7, 8 o'clock. We'll start to see a little bit of improvement as we get closer to lunchtime. Temperatures are going to soar towards the mid 40s. Notice that we do get into the 50s for a couple of hours, but with that wind, it's only going to feel like the upper 40s at best tomorrow. So not terribly out of the range of normal here. We should be in the low 50s for a daytime high, so a degree or two away from that. Not terrible, so definitely not the most uncomfortable January day we could be dealing with. And we're expecting things to be pretty quiet on Friday. Now, this is a map that we don't really show day to day. This is typically something we only bring out for specific type of weather events. This is our futurecast, but this is looking at two different levels of the atmosphere. With the precip, we're obviously looking at the surface, but we're actually looking at the whole column of air. So we do a lot of talk about different types of wintry precip. Today, for instance, we were talking about sleet, ice pellets hitting your windshields as folks were driving home from work. We had a first alert for it this afternoon and early this evening. Well, we can determine what's going to happen based off of our forecasts of that column of air. And for an event like today, which we knew there would be the potential to see a little bit of, we knew that temperatures in the upper levels would actually be closer to freezing than temperatures at the surface. So if you have air that's frozen at the top and a cloud starts to precipitate, that's going to be frozen, right? It's going to be an ice crystal. It's going to be snow, a snowflake technically. But as it falls through the atmosphere, through that column of air that we're looking at, if that column of air is warmer than freezing, it's going to melt. Now, if it's close to freezing but still warmer than freezing, then that's whenever you still get sleet. You get ice pellets. Whenever that's a regular day and it's roughly 45, 50 degrees or above, then the ice crystal has enough time as it falls through the atmosphere to melt all the way. So even though it starts as snow, it falls as rain on those type of days. Today wasn't that day, and as we head into early Saturday morning, there's going to be a potential for there to be a little bit of wintry precip. We'll dive into that, but I wanted to break down why I'm showing this map, and I wanted to make sure that you could see clearly that the temperatures that are written in blue here are the mid-levels. If you're a weather nerd, it's the 850 millibar temperature. If you're looking at the white number, that's going to be the surface temperature. That's the temperature that we measure here at the ground where we are. And we're talking about morning temperatures that are going to be in the upper 20s, low 30s for Friday morning. But as we head into the afternoon, we'll start to see the numbers improve a little bit. We'll get into the 40s. It's going to be a cold day, and those temperatures are going to fall rapidly into the 30s as we head into the evening hours. Cold air building in at the surface, moisture building in. We have about a 20% chance of showers late Friday evening, but those rain chances increase as we head into the early morning hours. And by the early morning hours, I mean 12, 1, 2, 3 a.m. We expect more rain to build in. And if you look at a place like Blairsville, you see on that map that blue number is at 35. You see that white number is at 32. I know you didn't come here for, a meteorology lesson, but that blue 35 is high in the sky. At the surface, you have freezing. So you're going to have a little bit of time for that crystal to melt a little bit. But as it gets close to the surface, temperatures fall again, and we're at freezing. So that freezes on contact, and that's where we talk about the potential for freezing rain, which is what everyone else typically talks about, at least in the wintertime, as being ice, because that's the type of scary ice. The ice pellets that we dealt with today were annoying, but we weren't concerned about it freezing on power lines, freezing on trees, or any of that kind of stuff. The freezing rain precip is what actually is the ice that people are scared of, because it can typically, if it accumulates enough, it can start to cause some serious issues, especially when you're dealing with trees and power lines. So not saying that that's going to be an issue this weekend, but we are watching the northeastern corner of the state, specifically Rabun County, may get into Union Towns County, but it's going to be those higher elevations that has that at least low end potential for there to be a little bit of freezing rain. The closer we get to this event, another day or so, we see a couple more model runs, we'll be able to give you a forecast on the amounts that we're expecting. But right now, we're at least looking at that potential. It doesn't look crazy high, but we'll keep our eye on it. The rest of us, you can see those white numbers are above 32 degrees, so we're expecting this to be just a rain event for about 95% of our viewership. So we're going to be first alerting early Saturday morning for the potential for scattered rain, which will be heavy. So this is going to impact folks that are going to be out in the streets Friday night, getting their life. Just be prepared that when you're done getting your life, you're going to want to get your umbrella to get to the car. It's going to be a little wet as you make your way in. And some of those showers are going to linger through the mid-morning. I think the heaviest stuff starts to push out as we get closer to about 12, and we'll see things dry out as we head towards Saturday night. Meanwhile, Sunday's looking pretty good. It's winter, so it's going to be a little chilly. There is a little bit of wraparound moisture around this system that pushes through the area on Saturday, and we do think that our northernmost communities could get a couple of sprinkles, but right now there's not enough moisture for us to really infer that there's going to be rain in the metro. So it looks like Metro Atlanta will be dry Sunday afternoon. It's going to be those counties of Union, Fannin, Gilmer, Gordon, Pickens that could pick up a shower or two in the afternoon as that low pressure system starts to pull away. Meanwhile, we'll have a drying period as we head into Monday. Clouds will start to build, and then there's another first alert because we do expect scattered rain to push in, and we do expect it to be a bit wet. And there's going to be a little bit of energy associated with this system, so rumbles of thunder look possible. Keep in mind, today is Wednesday. This is next Tuesday, so this timing could shift a little bit based off of new data that we get, because essentially we're forecasting a system that hasn't even really developed yet. So this may shift 4-6 hours, so we'll keep you abreast of that. Right now, we're giving you the heads up that it's looking like Tuesday's going to be the wet day. Depending on the timing, it looks like we could get a couple of rumbles of thunder, and if this system slows down, this could end up pushing later in the day, which means that we may have to start watching for severe weather potential. But for now, just know that this is looking like a messy day. This is the reasons that you have to tune in, a couple of times throughout the week. We do these shows every night at 8 o'clock, but we have newscasts literally all evening and all morning. So catch us whenever you want to turn on the dial. First alert for Tuesday for that rain. It looks like it's going to stick around, and because it's January, I've been off since December. Since it's January, we're in winter. We'll have to watch for a little bit of wraparound cold air. May have to watch the extreme North Georgia mountains for another shot of some wintry mix Tuesday night into Wednesday. For now, focus on the fact that tomorrow is a dry day, a little chilly, but not unbearable. We're looking at low-end rain chances starting to move in late Friday night, but it really looks like things start to ramp up as we head into the very early hours of Saturday morning. A first alert for that rain on Saturday, and a first alert to folks that are in northeast Georgia, the extreme northeastern communities, Raven County, Towns County, Union counties. Those areas, that's where we could see a little bit of wintry precip if that cold air funnels in. So heads up to you there specifically for that. The rest of us watching out for the rain, and then Sunday trends drier. I see there are several people that are on YouTube, but y'all are quiet, I guess because I'm talking so much, and that's okay. If you have any questions or any comments, feel free to shoot that in the comment section real quick. Let me know that you're there. Otherwise, I am going to leave you all with the 7-day forecast so you can do your screen grabs. Me and meteorologist Fred Campagna will be updating you. We'll get some new data in specifically on this rain event that moves in Saturday morning, and we'll have the breakdown of all of that coming up for you tonight on Atlanta News First at 10 on Peachtree TV and on Atlanta News First at 11. Mr. Devlin, nice of you to join us this evening. Mr. Devlin wants to know what's the deal with the cold. As a lifelong Georgian, other than the time that you spent in Columbia, you know it's January, you know it's winter, sir. No, the cold's not terrible. I mean, the cold is a little chilly. Temperatures are going to be a little bit below average as we head through the next couple of afternoons. We'll have to bundle up, but all in all, not a bad stretch of weather. I see another comment in the comment section asking me where I get my glasses. It's a combination of places. Some of them come from Warby Parker. Some of them come from Zilul. Two of them come from the eye doctor, my eye doctor. That's the name of the company. Yeah. Use promo code First Alert. That's my 10 o'clock producer. You can actually see him in this shot right now. He's hard at work preparing you all for what we have to come. That's his desk. Yeah, that's his desk. I guess you can't really see it all the way, but he's working right there. There he is. 10 o'clock producer, y'all. Mr. Brett Gilbert in the house. Every night at 10 o'clock, he's the one who comes up with our shows. All the information that you find out about, he is responsible for it, and we love him for it. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate you. Savannah Louie, you are perfectly right. This is gumbo weather. It is cold. You want a recipe? Okay, I can do that. Now pack your patience. And these are insider trade secrets from an authentic Southwest Louisiana. Okay? It is not easy to do. So the first thing that you want to do is take the biggest pot that you have and take you about a cup of oil, vegetable oil. You could probably use olive oil. I use vegetable oil. And then you want to take about a cup of flour, and you want to turn that fire on about a medium to low medium heat, and you want to sprinkle that flour in slowly. Then you want to take you a spoon, and you want to sit there. Normally I grab a stool, have the nice music playing, and you want to stir that roughly for about an hour and 20 minutes or so. This is the browning process. You're coloring your roux. And you just simmer. You let that simmer. You don't want to stop stirring. You have to stir the whole time, because if you stop stirring, this will burn. And there are more people on the stream now, so I'm guessing y'all are really loving this gumbo recipe. To make a long story short, after that you take you some bell peppers, green bell peppers, a yellow onion, and as much celery as you like. Dice all of that up finely, throw that into the roux, and then season all of those things. Here's the secret. People try to make gumbo, and they do not season the base of their roux. They just throw those veggies in there and think that that's enough. It's not enough. You have to add a little bit of salt. You have to add a little bit of pepper. You have to add a little bit of kick to that roux. That's a base layer of your roux. Step number one. The authentic New Orleans gumbo is made with a dark roux, vegetable, chicken sausage, and shrimp, and served over rice, according to Alan Devlin. He says this is a beloved recipe shared with me by a native New Orleanian. If it's the source that's a couple of seats down from you, about 4 seats down from you, I'm gonna need to see that birth certificate, because it's given California. And if it's if it's Google, then Google can't do what I do. Never thought of it that way. Yeah, absolutely. You have to season your roux. Now, I'm going to give you this base layer, and what I'm about to do now is what my 10 o'clock producer does on a nightly basis. I'm going to tease you to join me tomorrow night for the rest of the recipe. I'm going to leave y'all with the 7-day forecast, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a fantastic evening.